Hey. So it's officially November. It's November, Halloween is over, and sometime, if not today, this weekend, I will be putting up my Christmas tree and hopefully being able to get my husband to put up our some of our Christmas lights because I'm excited. This is one of those times where for me, I know Thanksgiving is coming, but that's fine. I can like the pumpkin is still outside and stuff, but you know. Anyway, let me know if you feel the same way. This video, being that it's November, uh one of my favorite seed companies has reopened for sale for 2025. That's M.I. Gardner. And I placed an order. We're going to talk about what I ordered, and we're going to talk about the seeds I have, as well as what some of my goals and intentions are for 2025. Because I do believe when you prep yourself, because it's November, okay, the year is almost over. There's one more month before we're into 2025. Once, for me personally, I have to start the preparations to have a successful beginning of the year, right? Versus when I'm like, okay, it's about to be Christmas, the new year is coming, and now I start thinking about it, then I just don't have enough time to plot, because I really like to sit down and marinate on things. Because if you didn't know, if you're new, welcome, my name is Nay. I am trying to homestead. I guess there are people who call me a homesteader. I'm not the most successful yet. I'm fairly fresh, and on this being the steward of my home, if you will, I am learning a lot of things, failing at some things, succeeding in other areas. And so in order to get better at that, I am trying to learn how to better plan. I have a small quarter acre of property and even less than that to actually grow things on. And my ground coverage, my actual soil is not really the best, so I have to do raised beds. I tried one in-ground bed, it was a failure. I just have to do raised beds. So with that in mind, I've decided I need to kind of hone in on a couple things and grow a good amount of those things, and then just a couple of other things, right? So let's jump right into it. Let's discuss some of the important I would say the bigger, more important things for me personally, what I'll be growing for 2025, or I'm planning to grow for 2025, is tomatoes, peppers, squash slash like pumpkins, peas slash beans, and eggplants, along with beets. Now, I won't really be going too far into beets because I have a couple different beets and it's working for me. And I don't think I need to have 1,000,000,001 varieties of beets. My kids don't really eat them, so it's just a husband and me type of thing. And I'm not like consuming them, eating them. I'm more like using them for drinks because they're so good for you. Anyway, let's get into the smallest collection I have, which is eggplants. And I only have one eggplant. Now, I did attempt to grow eggplants this year, super late in the year, and it did not work. The eggplant got to be like this big. It looked healthy, it was thriving, and a frost hit and she didn't make it, unfortunately. And it was a very light frost, but that had more to deal with how late I planted than anything else. So I will be trying again. This is sealed because it's I taped it shut, but this is the Black Beauty eggplant. I did, however, purchase one more eggplant from M.I. Gardner. I don't think we need a ton. There are some really cool looking eggplants. I don't really think we need a ton of different types of eggplants. This is something I'm trying to introduce to my children. And they're okay with it sometimes. My husband and I love eggplant. So the basic Black Beauty eggplant is just, I feel like, quite easy and well loved. And I went and got the Casper eggplant. Now, the Casper eggplant is a white eggplant, so I thought that would be kind of cool to kind of grow them to like in each other's vicinity. So when I harvest, I'm thinking different colors as well as different flavor profiles. But an eggplant is kind of an eggplant as far as I know right now. Okay, so that's the only eggplant that I purchased in this new order. Now, I made a purchase, and I'm probably going to make one or two more seed orders, even though I do have a lot of seeds, for a few different reasons. You don't need a ton of seeds to grow things. You don't need a ton of, you don't need a ton of varieties either to grow things. This is just something I'm interested in. These are things, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you've heard of Roots of Refuge. Jess, she's one of my favorite garden, homesteader, farm YouTubers. She's just a jack of a lot of things, a Jane of a lot of things. And she says, like, and I agree with her, in order to keep doing the struggle that is gardening, for me, I have to grow things I can't just easily get at my local store. And so like the Casper eggplant, like white eggplants, is just not something that is sold like that in stores. This is, but it's fine if I'm growing it with the Casper eggplant so that I can get purple and white. Does that make sense? So I'm getting a bunch of different varieties because, one, I don't know what's going to be really successful in my zone. I'm in zone, zone 6B, or, yeah, I think it's 6B. Sometimes I see 6A, but I'm definitely zone 6. So a little cooler. I feel like zone 6 and 7 were like in the middle of like, it can get it could go cold here, but it can also get quite warm. And I feel like our growing season is actually a reasonable amount, especially if you start indoors. It's a good long growing season, right? But anyway, I digress. The next thing I want to talk about are the squash / pumpkins. I put them in the same category, and it's fine. I have here the Table King acorn squash, and I'm not sure what this is, like what specific variety of acorn squash this is, because I dried these myself from a local place. So I went and got them, falling in love with them. I have a couple in my house now for storage, and I just really liked it, so I saved some of the seeds, and we'll see what happens with these next year. But worst comes to worst, I definitely have these, so I think they're gonna grow though. So we'll have two, and we'll grow a couple of these. But acorn squash are good for a little bit more of the long-term storage in terms of over the winter type thing. Store all winter for an excellent source of antioxidants, and it's 80 days to maturity, which is honestly good. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I like that idea of growing a bunch of acorn squash that I can then save for soups and stews and even desserts, because if you put some brown sugar on that stuff, put that in, I bet you acorn squash pie, it would be delicious. Or like some type, there's a lot of things. Anyway, well, let's not digress. And then I have something I haven't personally seen in person, but I feel like it's edible, and I'm down to try new squash. This is Gill's Golden Pippin squash. This is a longer, it says 80 to 100 days, but this is winter squash. It says it's moderately sweet in flavor and acorn shape, perfect for eating or for use as an accent for a cornucopia piece. So this is super cool. This says it has 4 to 5 months of storage capabilities, which is awesome to me. My ideas kind of with like the homesteading storage type of vibe is I would like to extend the amount of time I have to be going to the grocery store, right? I think I've gotten used to going to the grocery store often, and I've just been trying to shrink back on that. Like, how can I prepare? Not enough to have like, we're gonna eat this Monday, eat this Tuesday, eat this one day, Thursday. Like, that's a lot. Sometimes I can't, but I can plot enough to give myself options and be like, I'm not grocery shopping for a week or two, you know what I mean, or 3. Like, you extend and you just grow. That way, every week, you don't have to put in your budget to spend money to make sure you have food to eat and your kids have food to eat. So this is just another type of squash. And instead of being green with a little bit of orange, it looks more like a yellowy orange, almost like a pumpkin, but shaped like an acorn squash. And then the only pumpkin I have right now is a Jack B. Little Pumpkins. And the reason I bought this was because they're smaller. And like I said, I have a smaller plot of land. I don't want to be overflowing with these very massive pumpkins, especially since kind of when you cut into a pumpkin, you just kind of have to use it. And I think my kids would love these little ones, and 2, cooking with it and stuff like that is just going to be easier for me personally. And this says that they're prolific, and one plant can put on 10 to 15 of these pumpkins, and I like how cute they are. They're super adorable. It says that you do need to put like cardboard underneath the pumpkin to like avoid it being hurt, but it says slightly stringy but much sweeter than almost all of the pumpkin varieties. And this will store for 2 to 3 months, which I think is very impressive. If you know you're gonna have to do about 3 months or so of a little more than 3 months of growing these, you plant this, not like you can plant some in the beginning of the growing season and then some in the middle of the growing season, so you're harvesting in fall, and then for the remainder of the year at least you'll have pumpkins, you know what I mean? And then we can put some of these out for decoration, some of these out for consumption, so on and so forth. And I think that's really awesome. Now I did buy one pumpkin, and that's the Long Island cheese pumpkin. Hey yo, the pumpkin is so freaking cute. It's white and it's bigger for sure. Actually, let me pull it up. Long Island. Ooh, that's not how you spell island. It is a white look. Well, or it's like a muted. It's like a creamy color, not quite white, like a creamy color. Before the canned pumpkin trend, this Long Island heirloom was one of the most sought after culinary varieties for its rich, sweet flesh. Resembles a wheel of cheese with its creamy white skin and dramatic ribbing. Stores for 90 to 100 days. That's 3 months. It's 6 to 10 pounds a piece, and they are in fact cold tolerant. The fruit size of this is 2 to 5 inches. So this is probably, I don't know how much it weighs. It's just going to be like this big, versus those can be a bigger size. And I like that they're white for obviously like aesthetic purposes, to put out for looks, but also to use. Like you were like, this is literally like canned pumpkin stuff, and I will be getting into canning. If I don't get into this year, which I'm not even putting it on my books, but if for some reason I get like an urge, like just go get canning stuff, I will. But I will definitely be getting into it next year, canning and stuff, so that I can can my own pumpkin, because I use pumpkin in soups and stews. I use pumpkin and put some chicken in there and mix it together and eat it like that. I like pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. My kids are getting older, and I want to start making like individual pumpkin dessert treats and mini pumpkin pies and stuff like that. And I feel like having the different ones is going to be very cool. And I'm sure the flesh in the inside is also a lighter color, so it's just definitely also, it's luxury purposes too, because they have the long pie pumpkin, but I was like, the look, I don't know, aesthetics matter to me. So that was the only pumpkin I purchased, so because the rest were good. And then I don't want to get into the longest one yet, so we're gonna save the biggest one for last. This is my peas. I have the organic dwarf gray sugar pod peas. These were pretty good. I grew them super late, and I still harvested about, I want to say like 20 of these. So it's not a sugar ton because I went so late, but it's definitely fairly reasonable amount, and I'll definitely plant more. This is one of my favorite. This is amazing. This is the Purple Hull pea bush beans. I don't think I'm gonna buy any more, but if I feel like it, I will buy more, because I really loved these. I loved eating these raw. I just loved that, and I love the rattlesnake pole beans. I got a ton of these. I like the look of these things. I like eating these raw, but obviously I had to cook them down for my kids to eat them. But I do think this is something my kids will love to just eat raw as they get older. And then also I have the red kidney beans, light red kidney beans. These are great too. I love these. I haven't dried any of my own yet, but I do intend to try to dry them and get them and stuff, which is super cool. But like, I think I'm gonna end up just doing an entire like 6-foot raised bed of these, and like maybe another bean, like a two or at minimum 2, at maximum like 3 or 4 raised beds of like just different various beans. I went and purchased one bean, and that's the Christmas lima bean, and I'm super, I did buy it for that aesthetic purpose, but I do eat lima beans. My family does eat lima beans. Honestly, if I can cook up something and season it, most everyone in my house is going to just consume it. or at least attempt to consume it. It's just the pod is green, like a regular bean, but when you crack it open, it's like this dark purpley red and white color bean, and I think that's freaking awesome. I would be very interested in trying those out and harvesting them and then like saving them for soups and stews for the next fall season. I think that would be awesome. So I ordered that. So that one is done. Oh my gosh, the second most thing I'm excited to grow, second most important, is peppers. I definitely am getting into more peppers. I didn't buy a, we'll get into the peppers. This first purchase doesn't include any new peppers, but I do have an order I'm starting to curate from Rare Seeds. Because I'm super interested. It's just this really difficult balance between I like spicy, my husband likes spicy, and one of my kids doesn't mind spicy to a certain degree. So I'm trying to find stuff that will consume that has that spice, but it's not just burn your mouth. Like when I eat spice, I need the spice to taste good. So let's get into it. I have this regular sweet red pepper. I packaged this myself, 44 seeds. Green bell pepper. There's 40 seeds in here. Did this one myself. The California Wonder, this is an atypical one, which it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, this is an Anaheim chili pepper. I did try to plant this. I planted it too late. I don't think I'm gonna, I don't know, it's random. We're having like a random warm spurt. I don't think we're getting anything out of this one, but we'll see. Definitely gonna grow this next year though. This is like super prolific. Supposedly it's more mild than jalapeno, so I think all my kids would possibly attempt to try this. Mild salsa, mild enough for raw eating, salads, frying, and pickling. I definitely want to try to get into pickling. I don't have the best vibes with the pickling of like anything really, because I've only tasted like store-bought stuff, but I keep hearing great things about homemade stuff. And the thing about me is I do love things like this. They're not the same, but like other extended stuff, so I would like to try that. I tried cowboy candy recently, the one from Trader Joe's, but it's not cowboy candy, called like sweet spicy whatever, but it's cowboy candy. It was delicious. I actually gave myself bad indigestion. I was eating them issues like I had no sense, so I have to take time when I do that. And I've started apple cider vinegar, the raw apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. Oh my gosh, that just helps with everything. So yeah, this is also, all of these are fairly container friendly as well, so I'll have containers too. But this is super, I'm excited for this. These two are my top two dogs right now. I haven't grown either of these. I'm so excited next year. This is the Tabasco pepper. Now I am Jamaican American, and I grew up with my dad and grandmother and stuff using Tabasco sauce. So I'm super excited. This is very hot, but I'm super excited to attempt to make my own Tabasco sauce. I would love for next year to give my dad, I was gonna say next Christmas, we'll see if I could even wait that long but just give my dad and my grandmother homemade Tabasco sauce. That's just a flex, you know what I mean? And I want to get into it. So that's purely what I'm doing this for. And I like how cool those look. I love that. And then I have here, oh my gosh, the ahi mango pepper. First of all, it look upon that. Oh my gosh, this looked like Scotch bonnet to me. And I think it's gotta be probably a relative of Scotch bonnet. It says this is tangerine color mango sweetness with a nice searing heat. I love this. I've heard of ones that have like lemon flavoring with it, ones have like a peach flavoring. I'm getting all of those. Like I said, I did not buy any in this haul I'm talking to you about, but in the next one I will, because the goal is, did I say this before? I'm not sure. The goal is to not buy any seeds in January, February, and March of next year. I'm gonna attempt to go on a no buy period. I have a lot of hobbies, okay? I like fragrances, I like clothes, I like makeup, I like skincare, I like gardening, I have a lot of hobbies, and I want for the first the first 2 months of the year for me to really minimize my spending. So I'm trying to buy all the seeds that I intend to start and grow for the first part of the season before the new year even hits. But I'm super excited for that. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, because this video is quite long. I'm going to do my tomatoes is my biggest thing right now, and I'm going to do its own separate video. But thank you so much for watching this. If you've reached the end of this video, you are amazing. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'm super interested in some of your thoughts of what you intend to grow for 2025. It's rapidly coming upon us. Rapidly. And I know one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is so that even if you don't have the funds or the time right now to buy, I'm bringing it to the forefront, having you go, oh, I gotta put this on my radar, instead of just dropping a video in January like time to buy seeds, because next month time to start planting them in to growing them in your house, to plant them out for April, or you know what I mean? Like, then it just feels like, oh my god, I have 3 weeks to spend $50, you know what I mean? So you can start saving that money, start slowly buying your seeds, start doing what you got to do, start slowly buying any type of buckets and containers and stuff that you need, you know, no lights, all that stuff. Take your time, do it slow. Big sales are coming. This is the time to start buying stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this whole video, and hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye bye.